Hello. Nobody saw anything. Gotta draw abs and learn the lore. Hell yeah. Hi, Bear. Hello, hello, hello. I have no idea how to fucking start this stream. This is gonna go great. I'm just telling you already. You did, but don't worry, I hate the police. Thank you for not reporting what I showed. My secrets. My very important, very serious secrets. Yeah, it's fine. Hi, welcome. Once again, I don't know how to fucking start this stream. This was just like something I came up with like last Thursday, like what if I just did a stream about like saying shit about my OCs, and everyone was like, yeah, you should do that. And I have nothing prepared. So also I just have Mercury for everyone to look at, in case I get boring. That's just an aside. In case you're getting bored of my nonsense, look at Mercury. He is there. Right. Draw while everyone gets ready to join, yeah. Exactly. Like, I thought I might as well just get in Link. Do some more plucking at him. While everyone gets ready and I figure out what the fuck to talk about. Because I definitely do not know. That's not the right pen. That's also not the right pen. You, please. Thank you. You're just setting yourself up. Hell yeah. You do that. E. I also happen to do it on, like, a day where people might be busy. I don't know. I know that at least Chris is busy because he's at a wedding. Boo. You know. Boo weddings. I kid. I hope he has a nice time. But yes, once again, how the fuck do I start this? Like, I think most people know what Fatal Flaw is by now. In case someone is here that doesn't know what the fuck Fatal Flaw is, it's my original story OC project, whatever the fuck you want to call it. It's mostly exists in drawings and some animatics and some comics. Comics, I say very loosely. I still haven't finished that one. Which is about a group of people, group of mercenaries who are kind of, like, you know, doing these things, trying to defeat their enemies, kind of getting tricked. Not really tricked, but, like, the leader, Ulan, has some secrets he doesn't want people to know about, and it causes all sorts of conflict, as basically everyone in the story is morally grey at best. And they're all causing problems for each other. I think that's the best way to describe Fatal Flaw, is just a group of complete assholes causing problems on purpose. Yes. I love that mental image bear so much. Mercury just he absolutely looked at her just like joking around with the cigarette and was like, oh fuck no. Oh no. No, this needs to stop right now. Fuck, I have to quit smoking. I do also like, one mental image that's been popping in my head of just, like, once again, between Jesse and Mercury, of, like, Jesse, like, being the awkward big brother figure, doesn't know what he's doing, trying his best, like, and how that reflects in, like, you know, Liv, like, being like, can you, like, put my hair in a ponytail when she was a child? And Jesse is just fucking trying his best, a wreck. And then on the other hand, you have, like, Mercury basically, like, going full, like, hair salon mode with BB. Just fucking... It's the one thing I really love about Mercury, that for, like, all his flaws, and he has many, and all his fucking assholery and generally looking like this, he is genuinely, like, the best dad he can be. He goes full, like, girl dad mode of just like, yes, I will help you with your hair. Let me get it. I know how this works. Yeah, he can do it all. How did he learn? Who the fuck knows? That doesn't matter. But it definitely comes in helpful now that he has a daughter. Hey, ew. Hi, miss. I mean, I know your favorite character is Mercury, so, you know. I just had to draw it. I just want to squeeze until he goes pop. Exactly. Oh yeah, Mercury absolutely didn't expect to be as whipped for BB as he is until he fucking held BB and was like, oh god, no. I will do anything for this baby. No, I'm capable of genuine emotions. Exactly. I didn't know this was a possibility. And now I'm overcome with emotions, and I will do anything for this tiny ass girl that I'm now responsible for. Yeah. Jesse didn't even have to, like, give her a talk about smoking or anything. He just was. He probably tried to have a talk with her, like, hey, I know I smoke, but maybe you shouldn't. And Liv was immediately like, why the fuck would I do anything that you do? You've never made a good decision in your life. She kids, but also, it's true. Is he a single dad or is BB's mother in the picture? He... She used to be in the picture, but, like, not anymore. Like, he didn't have her when, like, he didn't know he had her until, like, BB was, like, a couple years old. And then was, like, be responsible for this child, please. You helped create her. Because I didn't know if you could tell, but Mercury might be a little bit of a slut. And then he was kind of like, oh fuck, okay, I guess I will, and BB's mother hasn't really been in the picture since. So, not anymore, I guess. I guess for the purposes of Fatal Flaw as the story, no. You're so right, miss. You did your shocked Pikachu face when you said Mercury is a slut. Really? I mean, I know, it must come as a shock. He is such a good Christian gentleman. But yeah, Jesse absolutely has to worry about Liv getting vicious. It's probably the only thing he has to worry about, because he doesn't know how to handle that. Guy will burn if he steps on hollowed ground. He's not a vampire. And if he was, it'd probably cause trouble, considering that, you know, both Nyx and Mercury are Hispanic, and most Hispanics are very deeply religious. So it would probably have caused some trouble if he really couldn't stand on hallowed ground. Jesse really wouldn't know how to, like, handle Liv having a partner. He feels like he should be doing something, but he doesn't know what. Just like, am I supposed to be, like, protective or something? And it's like, maybe, but I don't want to be weird about it. I love the fucking basically a boy band of you. But yeah. Also, what is... There you go. Do I like that better for this drawing? I might like that. I'm not certain. I think I like that better. Pix brings Mercury's nose a couple times as a treat. They'll probably get to break Mercury's nose and maybe other limbs during the course of Fatal Flaw. Is Mercury older than Nyx? Yes. Not by a lot, but yes. I feel like I need to change, like, color of the jacket as well. This was not my plan. But we're experimenting. Cousins, not siblings. Setting up to do some doodling as well. Yeah, that's totally fine. Nyx and Mercury are cousins. And they're like both the eldest cousin on their respective side. Does Nyx know about BB? I have wondered that, and I think, like, conceptually, yes, but, like, doesn't allow themselves to, like, really, like, sink in what that means. Just, like, not, like, very much like, oh, this is Mercury's child. Not even, like, Felix, because Felix they have to acknowledge as their cousin. Mercury, they do not have to acknowledge as their cousin. Even though they're the fucking same person. Yeah, but it makes things too emotionally complicated to acknowledge BB as, like, a person, basically, that exists and is related to them. Oh yeah, I don't think, like, BB knows much about Nyx, because otherwise absolutely she would just instantly be all over them, like... Because Nyx is just way too cool for that. I'm now just, like, trying shit for Mercury's outfit. I'm not quite certain what I'm doing. He looks trash enough. Listen! You can't be saying that. That's mean. I know. I'm just wondering if I should, like, change things, because I've usually had them in, like, browns for most things thus far, so just, like, maybe do a different, like, still dark and monochromatic, but, like, more bluish, purplish. I don't know. Help pink. No. But I will do it for you. There. That's just for you. Because I wanted to pair him with, like, a red kind of background, so I think that stands out a little bit more. Maybe? I don't know. What's Mercury's skill set for being hired by Jupiter? That's what happens when his white shirts get washed with a red sock. Yeah. Hi, Ragdoll. I guess to, like, Mercury is more the, like, sociable, is one of the more sociable sides of that little group. If it's spoilers, yeah. It's not really spoilers. It's just something I'm still, like, actively thinking about, so I'm just, like, kind of umming and ahhing as to what to say. But I did also bring it up with Beryl already. Jupiter, like, basically financially aided Mercury in setting up a casino. Which is kind of used as more of like a, not really like a home base, but more like the, like, how to get people in, get the money in, like, just keep that side flowing. He's in Jupiter's pocket, and they're kind of like, at this point in time, they're pretty, like, equal, like, business members, business associates. It's the most fun fucking business meeting ever. Very professional. Yeah, very professional. Yeah. Because they met while, Jupiter did have money from various gigs, including, but not limited to, sort of being an escort. And Mercury was very much trying to pretend to have money, and things kind of got a little, like, cross-wired between them, and then just, like, a mutual, you, me, we're the same, let's do business. They didn't fuck. I do have to specify. They bonded, they didn't fuck. Also, Jupiter and standards do not go together. I knew Jupiter had standards. No, Jupiter absolutely fucking would have if Mercury had had money. The thing about Jupiter that you have to understand is that Jupiter's standards, and especially moral standards, are on the fucking floor. And he has no intention to pick them back up. Yeah, he has pushed them under the carpet, left there to be forgotten. You can absolutely admonish Ulan for having no standards, that's fair enough. In the basement, yes. In the basement, under a carpet, that's where Jupiter's standards and moral standards are. And I'll keep them there. We were all in our early 20s once. Yeah, probably pretty much. How old is Mercury? Let's see. 50s. No, not 50s, but probably like somewhere around his 40s, I want to say. Like either approaching or just past it. Somewhere in that age range. Yeah, I'm glad he gives that vibe, because that's, yeah. He dresses like a man not ready for his 40s. Mercury is definitely the person that if you look at pictures from him from early in his 20s, he still, like, dresses exactly the same. And he's never, like, given it much thought. This is just very much, like, yeah, okay, like, sure. Trousers, leather jacket, let's go. It's only, like, the only thing that has changed is, like, the price range of his clothes. They're significantly more expensive now, but don't look that much different. Have good tea! It's time to pay $500 for a jacket that looks like it should cost $450. Yeah, absolutely. Very much that vibe of just like what, like how expensive is your outfit, and you think it's like all together it might be like $100, but then he comes out with like, oh yeah, this jacket is like, you know, $500. It's like, what the fuck? What do you mean? Why is your jacket so expensive? He bought the $400 white t-shirt from the bear, yeah. Something like that, like, just full, like, why? Why are you spending so much money on clothes that look so normal? Why would you do that? Let's see if we can shading more. Let's give this boy some dramatic shading, you know? And the ones where the fabric is woven without the sides. Listen, everyone in the story has to be a disaster in some way, and this is Mercury's disaster. Right, like I'm not sure. I think I just shading is so hard sometimes. I don't know if I like this. This drawing has been giving me a lot of trouble. Yeah. What else do I have to say? What else should I talk about? I forgot for a moment this was not a drawing stream. Yeah. Well, I'll say this because I talked about it with Bear already while we were on holiday. Of like, which got brought up by Ragdoll, I believe, when I posted the drawings of BB, of just like Mercury is gonna have to like show up at Jesse's door for like sleepovers and such. Not them sleepovers. They are not sleeping over, but like, the teenager sleepovers. Uh, of just like, um, you know, what do you do when like the guy who you have been trying to kill shows up at your door with your little sister's best friend, and it's just completely casual about it. It's just like, yeah, here you go, here's the thing. Here's my daughter for a sleepover, have fun, kids. Because I do think that's the fun part of, one of the fun parts of Mercury's character is that he is the truth zone. Yeah. It is absolutely surreal, especially for Jesse, who just like, it suddenly just happens for him. He had no fucking idea. God forbid Jesse ever has any clue what's going on in his life, you know? But Mercury does, and I think that's the fun part of Mercury's character, is just he's very, very good at just being like this, like, or like, you wanting to kill me, you being a mercenary, etc. That's professional stuff. This is private stuff. That's a separate matter altogether. We're not getting into that. Like, just very good at like fully separating that. Which is absolutely insane behavior, by the way. I do, like, that's not normal, and Jesse is completely right in, like, being so confused over that. But it is very much how Felix handles stuff. Of just, this is, like, separate lives, separate issues, have nothing to do with each other. Which probably does come a lot from him and Nyx being cousins, and like, having like all these like different issues in their lives with each other, and still having to like, hang out with each other at Christmas gatherings and stuff with the family. It's like like, cool, I cannot be mad at Nyx during Christmas. That's for family, that's a different issue. Let's fully separate those things from each other. I think that's where it comes from. But Mercury has gone like that to an insane degree. Is the gym a very dark gray truth zone? Yeah, I do think so. I think it would be like very dark gray, very like they're both like, they're not gonna try to kill each other here because that's just more issues, but it is like, we are gonna be highly competitive here, especially Jesse, and as Jesse keeps winning because Jesse is younger and fitter. Yeah, killing a guy at the gym is just rude for the janitors. Exactly. Cannot be inconveniencing these people. They have nothing to do with it. Yeah. They both got to this gym. They're finally at like this gym that they both like separately really enjoy, and they're both like I could go to another gym, or in Mercury's case, like I could have like a home gym, but it's not gonna be the same, so we're just gonna have to fucking deal with it, I guess. And they do. To their credit, they do just fucking deal with it. But yeah, like this is very much gonna cause problems for Jesse, because Jesse is not good at like separating the whole matter. Like totally professional adults for sure, but yeah, Jesse is not as good at separating things. Just in general, but especially not when it comes to something like this. So yeah, it will very much cause problems for Jesse, especially. Especially also in regards to Nyx. Because Nyx is very much, you know, as Miss, fucking kill him on sight, I guess. So, just as Rachel's records instead. Yeah. And Nyx is very much, you know, blinded by like, I hate these guys for valid reasons. I don't want this guy in my life. I hate this guy. And if they knew what, Jesse was up to, they'd be absolutely like, what the fuck are you doing? Why? What is this? Have you considered killing them? Killing him? But like at that point Jesse would be too deep into it already. This is an established thing, and he cannot do it because Liv would be upset, but also BB would be upset, and he's gotten very attached to BB as well. And it's just a mess. Which I do think is just a fun plot point of Jesse, like, trying to be like, why do you hate each other so much? Have you considered maybe going to therapy? Is there any major underlying problem? Can I help, Very much like, I don't know how to, like, separate these issues in my life, because they're very closely connected, and I don't know how to deal with them, so I'm gonna try to, like, fix the problem, but it's not a problem that he can fix or can be fixed in general. So it's gonna be just the most fun time for Jesse, I'm sure of it. It's not that I don't think Jesse is being especially, like, stupid in these circumstances. He just doesn't know the full story because nobody's fucking telling him shit. And also just very much in that headspace of like, if I solve this problem, it will stop being a problem for me, so let me try to solve this problem. And it's not working out. think it's not like the question of why do you hate him, because like Jesse probably doesn't like Mercury that much either, but it's like Nyx's hatred for Mercury is very like very irrational. At least from Jesse's perspective of like, you know, like, because to him, Nyx is just fully in, like, I want to destroy Mercury's entire life, doesn't matter what, like, what the outcome is, doesn't matter what happens to, like, baby or whatever. And he cannot understand that. Because he doesn't really have any context for their relationship. It already took him, like, a while to get anyone to tell him they were related in any way. You gotta understand that Jesse does not have the context of the pictures that I make regarding Nyx and Mercury. Fair. Yeah, this is very much a case of what you know versus what the character knows. He has eyes, though. He does. He very much does have eyes, and like, he probably wouldn't make the stupid looking bird. Also fair. And I do think that he wouldn't make the decisions he's gonna make, will make, has made, depending on where you are in the timeline, I guess, if he didn't have that added layer of Liv and BB going on. Like, he'd be able to get Nyx's perspective more if that wasn't a factor that he has to deal with. But he does. And it's very much a selfish, like, desire from him of, like, I wanna, like, make this make sense for me, so I get what's going on and my life can be more at peace, but it's very much not a thing that either Mercury or Nyx wants. Very Chekhov's gun, yeah. Like, in regards to, like, what Mercury and Nyx have done to each other, and then, you know, especially what Mercury has done to Nyx, because, you know, that's a whole, like, physical aspect as well, but also just in general what they've done to each other. Like, pretty much the only ones who, like, know and are aware are Nyx and Mercury, Ulan, of fucking course, Bo to a lesser degree, and mostly from Nyx's side, and Mars, also lesser degree and mostly from Mercury's side. And other than that, it's like pretty, like, the others aren't really involved in it and don't really know what's going on. Like, if you asked Moira, like, why does Nick hate Mercury so much, she'd be just like, I don't fucking know. They just do. I mean, that's also Moira, but you know. Like, everyone in Fatal Flaw exists in a universe where it's like, the more you know, the less, like, and the less good it is. You don't want to ask too many questions. But sometimes you gotta ask questions and it makes things difficult. Cowards, yeah. Yeah, I was trying to figure out Mars' business the other day. I think she might be an arms dealer. I think that works well with what everyone has going on and why they want her. Because Mars is someone who I can very much see coming in from a business perspective of just like, cool, you've built up this, like, basically this casino, this, like, place with reputation for people with shady dealings going on. I have shady things to sell. Let's get in here. Who wouldn't want her arms? It's very much like Mercury and Jupiter provide her clientele. Because, surprise, surprise, Mars, with the resting bitch face ice cold glare, might not be the most sociable person. Yeah, very underworld. How did she get into that business? I think it's like a little bit like I do think her family had a business going. I don't think it was necessarily arms dealing for the underworld. I think that was probably like pretty innocent. And then like at some point she was like, cool, I have inherited this thing. If I'm gonna fucking do it, I'm gonna commit like 200% to this. Let's fuck shit up. Like, very much the vibe of, okay, so on one of the QI episodes we watched, there was this fact about this woman who, like, basically, like, bought and built herself a tank after, like, her husband died, and was just like, you know, you can have this tank. Hey, government, you can have this tank, but I'm gonna be the one riding it, and I'm gonna be the one, you know, shooting in it. Like, that's very much Mars's vibe of, like, cool, I have this thing now. I'm gonna commit 2000% to it. This is my thing now. I don't fucking care. Could a family have had a rifle range or something? I can see that, yeah. Just, like, probably, like, still dealing with arms, but to a much, like, more innocent, like, almost, like, sports-like, ordeal. Person sounds like a legend, yeah. Also, hi, Kuro. Hi. Yeah, I believe it was like a Russian woman who made like, I think she made her own tank, and then the government was like, can we have your tank please? And she was like, yeah, but only if I can, like, go blow up Nazis with it. Has to be me. So yeah, Mars very much has that same vibe of just like, yeah, like if I'm gonna like do this thing, if I have this thing, I'm gonna commit like all my energy, everything to it, and I'm gonna do it right. And with right, she means, you know, fucking killing so many people, I guess. How does Mars cope with failure? She doesn't. She always succeeds. No, she doesn't always succeed, but it is very much that, like... she is very much intolerant of her, like, failures. Of just, like, no. No. I didn't fail. This fight is not fucking over. We're gonna fucking keep, like... I'm gonna throw myself at this problem again and again and again until I succeed. What a chance she wasn't the original inheritor of the rifle business, she just made herself the inheritor. The chances of that are very big. It's a nice, healthy outlook to have with life. Yeah, I know. I mean, it is one of, like, I want to say, like, one of the quote-unquote main themes of Fatal Flaw, of just, like, you know, how do you deal with, like, loss of control in your life? And for most of these people, the answer is, destroy their life. Do you have any brothers, sisters, or a husband that came to an unfortunate end? Uncle that fell down the stairs onto a sword. There just happened to be a sword there. It wasn't related to her at all. Yeah, I do think Mars was married at some point, and, you know, very classic showed up to his funeral in very classic I have definitely not killed my husband garb, like full black shawl and sunglasses. How far down the well was she? I am probably, like, officially not that far. But unofficially, as in, like, will people let a woman inherit a business? Pretty far. Will people let a woman inherit a business without male interference? And like, you know, I'm gonna have to like take over so you can like stay home and like focus on your womanly business and whatnot. Yeah, it's very much like officially she'd probably be like, you know, like it'd probably be like her siblings and then her. But unofficially it'd be just like it would of course be expected to go to her husband's and then like her husband's family, because you know apparently they're more like good for that kind of work or whatnot. I mean, well, she's just she just has a gun ready of like, no, no. My only business, which is guns, yes, and swords. Because, you know, sometimes the patriarchy is a fucking mess. So yeah, good for her that she did get her hands on like the company eventually. And that's not the problem. It's kind of what happens what she did with him. Generational wealth. First her brother, then she had a terrible prenup and a divorce on the horizon, so he had to go, yeah. Fortunately, he went to like Lissa. It's just such a tragic end, you know. He was so young. And he left behind a very young, beautiful widow. Who then, you know, just had to move into the brother's house because she had nowhere else to go. And then the brother came to, and also a very tragic, unfortunate end. But you know, he was always kind of sickly, so it was only a matter of time, really. Anyway. What a shame. She has had such a hard life. Yeah. Well, very much a hard life in the way that, like, all women who weren't allowed to have possessions that weren't actually controlled by their husbands and or fathers had a hard life. Delicately nabs at her cheeks beneath her veil. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, she very much came in with like the business perspective of just I have a product I want to sell. You have the people I want to sell the product to. Let's do business. And you know, how can you say no to her? She has a sword. What's her ethnicity? Because I'm getting a touch of Iron Curtain. Oh yes, that's very intentional. It is very like Eastern European, like I want to say like former like Yugoslavia, I think. Yeah. Former Yugoslavia. Currently Croatia, that kind of area. So yeah, definitely Iron Curtain, like Eastern European, you know. Don't fucking mess with her. Which is also why, like, you know, very much, like, despite the, like, very harsh demeanor, she does, like, dress very feminine and, like, big jewels, glitter, sparkles, everything, because that's very much, like, you know, rich Eastern European of just, like, show off. Show off that you have fucking money. Was she married very young? Probably, yeah. Yeah. She did probably marry young, and then, her husband had a very tragic end. Pretty young as well. Yep. Rest in peace. Yeah. Rest in pieces. That's the only thing that was left. Just some pieces. It was a really tragic accident. Yeah. Picturing a lot of women in that skirt shrugging at the news. Yeah. They're all just going, oh, how tragic, and going back to work. Yeah. And now she was working with the rest of the gang. Um, yeah, just a couple of phone calls offering their condolences. Definitely not congratulating her. You heard that wrong. Um, yeah. And now she's working with Jupiter and the rest of the gang, I guess. Um, and just kind of having become semi best friends, semi um not enemies, just semi fucking bitching at each other. Um, besties with Mercury. Old babushkas drinking very strong coffee and raising their eyebrows with a little tilt on their hands. mm. I mean, the news was just so tragic. He was still, you know, so young. Such a tragic accident. But, you know, that he shouldn't have stood in front of that gun. I was just... Yeah, he should have known better. They didn't help bury bits of the poor missing man later. No, of course not. They were being good women at home. As all good women are at home when it gets dark. Definitely not out burying men. You ran into my knife 10 times. It just happened that way. Yeah. Yeah. Mars is gonna be a fun one, because she's, you know, fucking ready to commit and fight to the bitter end. Are we allowed to ask how Mars and Jupiter met? You are. I do think it's very much a, like, via situation of just, Jupiter knows, like, out of everyone, Jupiter is the most sociable, knows the most people, very actively networking and shit. Because that's his entire fucking thing. So it's very much like a via situation of, like, we need someone who can provide this thing we need. And someone else going, okay, I know a person, she might kill you, but, well, you know, that's a risk you need to be willing to take. So it was very business-oriented from the start, and then it kind of, like, evolved from there. as Mars got a little bit more intertwined with the whole happening, and just started hanging out more, because, you know. Yeah, and eventually Mars and Mercury kind of became besties who loved bitching at each other, and Mercury is terrified of Mars, but also that won't fucking stop him. He already has, like, his cousin coming for his fucking life, you know? And Mars is just like, well, good for them. Anyway. They would never call each other their best friends. But also, God forbid, you ever do something, you know? But Mars and Jupiter's relationship is still very, like, relatively professional, I say. As professional as Jupiter can be, considering Jupiter is very much the type to instantly be like, oh, nice, we're friends now. Even when that's frantically not true at all. Which, let me be clear, is very much not a naive thing on Jupiter's part. It's very much a, like, more to, like, catch people off guard. Arrogance thing, yeah. Very much an arrogance thing. Like, Jupiter is naive in a way, but it stems more from arrogance. Of just like, well, this is my interpretation of the world, and that's the way it is, because of course I'm right about it. Which is very much like the interesting thing between Ulan and Jupiter in the beginning of the story of just, you know, post breakup, but also Jupiter is not gonna acknowledge the breakup. Or he will eventually, but will very much see it as like, well, Ulan did that. He broke up with me. It was not like, you know, sure about that. Meanwhile, Ulan, on the other hand, is very much like, you fucking crippled me. How could we be together after this? This is... what the fuck? Looks like he acknowledged something. Listen. That just happened. It's not a reason to break up with someone. Or it's not an automatic breakup in Jupiter's eyes. In Mulan's eyes it is, because... What? What world are you fucking living in? But for Jupiter it very much isn't. You know, when you just happen to run a car over your ex's leg twice. It happens, you know. No, but like, if you ask Jupiter, he would very much like, oh, why did you and Ulan break up? He would very much be like, well, Ulan wanted to break up, you know? Like, very much like not acknowledging the fault he had in it. Oopsies, just girly things. Haha, aren't we so quirky? So yeah, in case you were wondering why, Ulan, you know, fucking hates Jupiter and wants him gone from the world, that's why. Like, it's not just the fact that Jupiter crippled him, it's that he crippled him and then went, like, yeah, but that was just the thing I had to do. That wasn't really, like, you know, important or anything. I'm, like, very much the feeling of, I'm so sorry you feel that way. Like... That's the thing that Ulan cannot stand. Yeah, fuck that noise, exactly. But yeah, like I was saying earlier, like one of the pretty much overarching themes of Fatal Flaw is very much like, you know, if you lose control of your life, what the fuck do you do? What do you do to regain control? The most obvious example of Ulan basically being like, let me, you know, gather every information, file it up, you know, make sure I have plans upon plans upon plans to, like, you know, very much the paranoia. And I don't phrase this lightly, like, ooh, paranoia. No, for Ulan, it's basically like actual paranoia of just like, no. Everyone is out to get me. I need plans upon plans and upon plans to, like, get ahead of that. So that's the most obvious one. For Jesse, it's very much, you know, running away from shit, which is kind of how he ended up in this mess. It's not even like regaining control for him, it's more just like like, he creates his own problems very much. Because if there is problems, then he feels like he's in control. If it's safe and calm, then he goes crazy, basically. Then, like I said, with Felix, it's very much the, like, very much separating of different facets of life, of, like, you know, him being a parent is very much separate from him being Mercury, etc., etc. These people need therapy. Everyone in Fatal Flaw needs fucking therapy, apart from maybe Moira. But that's also a hard maybe. She also maybe needs therapy. Mars is very much the, like, I don't have a problem, you have the problem is me, with a gun and or a sword. I will solve this problem with violence. And if I cannot solve it with violence, how about more violence? Moira is probably, like, the most healthy in her mindset. But she's still very much like, I'll just go along with stuff. Is she getting therapy? I think Moira is probably the only one who is in therapy, or at least has been in therapy. The therapist is definitely fucking in over their heads. No, it's like Moira is not yet in a healthy mindset, but is definitely the closest to getting there out of everyone. Like, she's still very much, like, going with the flow to, like, a somewhat unhealthy degree, but it's definitely better than it used to be and will get better over the story. I feel like even a good therapist would be in over the head with those people, yeah. It is very much a, like, you know, it isn't like a, Fatal Flaw is not a story where everyone goes to therapy by the end of it. Because some of these people won't. Maybe some of them will, but, you know, some of them absolutely will not, and that's not part of their story. Like Mercury. No, Mercury, because he'll be dead. That, yeah, that also might be the case for some of them. Of just, well, they won't be going to therapy because they will no longer be needing it because they're no longer around for various reasons. Yeah. No, that's very much it, of, like, MJ coming in seems like the perfect client, is very like happy-go-lucky, trying to like communicate everything, is very much like trying her best to go better and better, and then like, you know, just these like little snippets she kind of just pops in that are like, hang on a second. What do you mean? Very much like, I thought we were here because of your past, you know, family history shit. There is another thing going on here, and I'm not entirely sure it's legal. And I'm not entirely sure what I can say about it, but I guess I'll listen. Yeah. But yeah, MJ is definitely like the closest to kind of maybe getting there. Um anyway, for the others of like, you know, how do you gain control of their lives? How do they try to do that? Nyx is very much like the almost like obsessive focus on Mercury as like, that's the person who caused all my problems, even though like maybe half the problems weren't even caused by him. I'm gonna like obsessively focus on, you know, being angry at Mercury so I don't have to be angry at anyone else. He's happy to take credit, yeah. I mean, I don't think even like Mercury is even aware that Nyx is really doing that or anything. It's more just that that's what Nyx does, and as a result there's just more animosity between them, but there would already have been animosity between them without that. Like the way of tying the characters together with all these emotional ropes. Yeah. It is very much like me setting rules for how the characters behave without like setting explicit rules. He gives me the nightmares about drowning. Who even does that? Sure, yeah, whatever. Yeah, it is very much that of like, everything is connected back to like Mercury in some way, and if they just can get rid of Mercury, then everything will be fine. Like, it's not something they would explicitly state like that, but it is definitely like the very subconscious thought. Um, um, then you have Bo, who's like very much like keeping like control of their life by constantly like basically like doing new experiences of just like very much throwing like spaghetti against the wall, see what sticks. Very much like, okay, cool, let's go out every weekend, let's go, you know, party, let's go, sure, you offer me drugs, that's fine, let's do it. Very much that of like, and it's definitely caused problems distracting themselves. Yeah, not like again, not like the active like thought of like I need this so I do it. Like Bo will never think, oh, I'm gonna do this so I don't have to think about X, but it is very much what they do of just like very much in the habit of just like, okay, we're gonna go partying, we're gonna go, like tossing money at whatever. Let's, you know, see a pretty girl, go up to her, see what happens. Can't handle boredom. Yeah, very much so. That's very much Bo's way of keeping control of their life. And I think Venus is pretty the same in that regard, but to an even bigger extreme, and like even like pretty much getting other people involved in it. Just very, let's be loud, let's live life the loudest it can be in every single form. That's very much Venus. And then Pluto is very much the opposite of that, of just I'm like gonna drown out every like gonna drown out every basically like metaphorical sound that reminds me that I'm like an actual fucking person that's made of flesh and blood. I'm just gonna focus on like the tech thing. That is me. That's very much Pluto. Love that for it. Yeah, you gotta love that for Pluto. Pluto's definitely gonna have a wonderful time. Don't worry about it. Yeah. It is very much like a fun thing, because I've never, like, I very much didn't start this with, like, this as a theme, but it very much came about that way. The more. The more I thought about these characters, because it is very much a very important thing. Yeah. And I do think it's fun of the characters in that way, and it sets kind of rules for how they behave. What is the theme of, like, how do you keep control over your life, / what do you do if you lose control? Also Jupiter, of course. Jupiter, I didn't really talk about Jupiter when it comes to that, but Jupiter is very much the... how to phrase that? Very much, again, like, the arrogance and thinking they, like, have the control and, like, nothing will really, like, go out of, you know, go out of order or whatever. Everything is as he thinks it should be. It's very controlled, very manufactured, fake. Jupiter's denial, basically, yeah. It's very much prevalent in everything that Jupiter does, is that he's very deep in denial about basically everything. Jupiter's denial, Mars's gun. Solipsistic. Don't know what solipsistic means, but yeah, that seems right. That's correct. But yeah, denial of responsibility, aging, vulnerability, very much that. It's also very much like, yeah. Definitely prevalent in, like, how, especially how he thinks about aging and, like, the beauty standards he sets for himself as well, which are very rooted in, like, the idea of not aging and, like Jupiter's, like, perceptions of beauty, especially for himself, are very like very much like, you know, not aging, uh like thinness is like how thin you are is like equivalent to how healthy you are. Very much like in stasis. Fluctuation is not part of his beauty ideals. The idea that's very prevalent, especially in women's beauty ideals, of like, you should look the same at 50 as you did at like 25. That's the goal, even though that's unachievable by any human being. Fuck that. Yeah, very much fuck that, but that's where Jupiter has basically come from, and what's still very prevalent to him. Still very much that idea, and very much that also very much, you know, continues into his thinking of the world and such. It's both his thinking and just everything about him is very unrealistic and very much in denial of anything that's going on. Which does make him a very fun antagonist. Because that's probably gonna be like one of the challenges if I ever actually like write something down for Jupiter, is very much like the way he speaks to people is always like borderline, like it's not like insulting and it's not actively insulting, and it does seem to come from a good place, but there's always like this hint of unease. It's very much the feeling you get when someone says, "Oh, I'm sorry you feel that way," or like some other like empty sentiment like that. Condescending, yeah, very much that. He is very condescending, but not in a way that you think he means it. And which makes it tricky to call him out for it. Or for characters to call him out for it. Especially in the moment, because it's like, not quite certain he like means it like this, but this is how it comes across, and it's like, but he kind of glossed over it and is all friendly smiles, so yeah, I would say that, miss. Because he is, like, genuine. In his brain, he is fully genuine. Like, there might be times he isn't genuine, but he still very much has that vibe, but, like, I'll say like 90% of the time he is just fully genuine, but still like that. Cause he isn't naive, so he will like understand when people are like mean to him, and he can definitely like bite back. But usually he's just fully like, you know, full arrogant, I know what I'm doing, this is good, this is right, I'm being genuine. Yeah, very genuine, very unable to realize that he might be wrong. And that others might be right, yeah. But yeah. That's mostly what he is. And he is like genuinely charismatic, and it does make people like. He is also just genuinely very good at getting people to agree with him. A little bit of a tragic character, yeah. A little bit. It is very much like capitalize that, I guess. Yeah. It is very much a case of like, if he were like younger and you think this was more accidental, you might have forgiven him for it, but he has been like this, and like, even if he were to be made aware of it, he probably wouldn't change. That makes it like, twists it into him being like an actual antagonist of just like, you're not gonna, like, he's at a point in his life where you're not gonna be able to convince him anymore. And he has very much like, in the cases that he was aware, he has like made the wrong choice, basically. At this point, he has chosen this path. But it is rather tragic, yeah. Which I think is fun. Like, everyone in Fatal Flaw, everyone very much is morally gray at best. And it's very much how they handle things within the story. It's very much how to explain. It's very much a case of like, these aren't the protagonists because they're the good guys. They're the protagonists because the story is centered around them. And I think that's more fun because especially with like stories where protagonists are morally gray, there is like always this slight like um the slight instinct to make the antagonist like cartoonishly evil. Um but that's not really what I want for a Fatal Flaw. Like, they are evil, they are full-on criminals in most cases. But in most cases, the protagonists aren't really that much better, they just have different circumstances. They're human, yeah. And I think that's especially why I wanted to give Mercury a child, because he was very much in the danger zone of becoming like just, you know, the cartoonishly evil guy, like opposite of Nyx, just like the guy who ruined their life and has no redeeming qualities. And now he's a dad, so he at least has that going for him. And he's a good dad. Not a good husband, but a good dad. Exactly. Think you weren't there for that yet, Kira, but in the beginning of the stream there was like a question of like, is BB's mom still in their lives? And it was like, no. And for the first couple years of BB's life, like, Felix didn't know she existed, basically, because, you know, surprise, surprise, this guy might be just a little bit of a slut. But then once, like, BB was handed to him, he was just like, oh no. Oh no, I will give my life for this baby. If need be. Yeah. Anyone has more questions? Regarding the overall story or specific characters? Might have a weakness to such characters, and how dare you, and don't stop your doing great. He will die for this baby, but he won't go to therapy for now. I think that is still very much like he would if Bibi asked him. He's never gonna cause the circumstances under which she will ask that of him. He will never make her witness the circumstances that for which she will have to go, hey, can you please go to fucking therapy? He keeps those parts of his life strictly separated. Yeah, Bibi is like technically able to put a leash on Mercury, but she isn't aware that she like needs to, or what she needs to ask. Because as far as she's aware, he is just a good dad that cares for her. And goes to his job. And like all teenagers, she's kind of like, I don't know what my dad does. You think he's in finance? Maybe? Does Jupiter's crew have a current big project objective? Haven't really thought about that yet. He's probably an accountant. Exactly, that's very much Bibi's thing. I'm just like, I think he's an accountant? I don't know, I've never explicitly asked or have been forced to think about it, but I think that's correct. But yeah, I'm not quite certain of like, I do think Jupiter's crew has like a big project in the works that's gonna be used as like an inciting incident of like Utlan thinking, oh, I'm gonna have to like kick things into like high gear now and go after these people instead of just fulfilling contracts. Not really from a moral perspective, more like the crew is ready to go after bigger targets now. Bigger targets have a thing going on that I kind of don't want to go through because I kind of want to fuck up Jupiter's entire day because I'm fucking petty. But it's not like they have like a grand evil scheme or anything going on like that. Yeah, also he works for Casino. Yeah, that's also very much true of just like, she probably doesn't know, and like in the beginning, and if she asks, he'll just tell her he is working in a casino, and there's not really anything like legally wrong with that. So that's fine, he can just tell her that. Like, this is very much like Mercury's like domain of just being on like the shady side of legality, of just like of the legal system, of just like saying like, sure, he works in a casino and that will give people cause, but it like make them pause and just like, okay, sure. But it's not like someone that will point at it and say explicitly, oh, that's illegal, you shouldn't do that. Which is very much the line that he skates by. Yeah. Yeah, and it's definitely a good excuse for her to not go to his work. And once she, like, gets to an age that, you know, she could technically come to his work, he's kind of, like, hoping that phase is over. And also, it would be easy enough to make, like, a safe place for her. Does Liv know what Jesse does? Absolutely fucking not. I think Liv, unlike BB, Liv definitely knows there's like something shady going on. Because Jesse is not a great liar. So it is very much a case of him going for like, I'm going to work. Oh, what's your job? I'm going to work. Yeah, and he used to be a removalist, so she's probably thinking somewhere in that line, but there's something shady going on, but she's not entirely certain, and also, sure, whatever. Like, and she will meet, like, the rest of, like, the Fatal Flaw crew, and she will be like, well, these people are nice enough, I guess that it's all good. I guess it's fine. And you know, with Ulan, it's very much a, like, haha. My brother has a crush on you. Oh yeah, I can definitely see that of her thinking he does like crime scene cleanup or something like those. Like, she is very much thinking of like, you know, he clearly has to do like some sort of physical work, but it's not like it's clearly not entirely legal, or he'd be able to like tell her, but that might also just be a case of him being paid under the table, and he doesn't want to get her in trouble, so because that's fine enough. It's like she definitely she thinks it's a little bit shady, but not like shady enough to ring any alarm bells, like. Lewis's crime scene cleanup was actually about Jesse's life. It's all coming together. No, that's what Liv thinks Jesse's life is. That's different. Yeah. Yeah, no sad workplace has often been an area of place that worked late in the news, doesn't like talking about it, used to be removed list. He does crime scene cleanup. Yeah, pretty much something along those lines, she thinks. Because also just for, like, to a certain extent, I don't think she can imagine Jesse doing anything too dangerous either. Like, just. So it must be something that's, like, kinda shady, but still relatively safe. Just not something he feels comfortable talking to her about, but that's basically, like, everything. um, but yeah, like the idea of there being innocence in the story. Yeah, very much so. No, he's not the reason for the news. It's what happened in the news is the reason he had to go there, exactly. Jesse being a sniper, does he own guns from Morse's family trade? Probably, yeah. In a way, Jesse does indeed clean up. Exactly. It's not technically a lie, especially as he didn't say anything. Liv just thought of that. But yeah, I do think Jesse has weapons from Mars's family trade. A good quality gun is a good quality gun, what can you say? There was crime, he cleaned it up, exactly, it's all good. It's all fine. If this box that I job shoots me with my own gun, I'm going to be very upset. Yeah, she wouldn't be happy about that. I mean, it's better than if the box that job shot her with, like, an inferior company's gun. That would be even worse. So at least it was one of her own guns, you know? At least it was good quality. But still. Either way, she's gonna be very upset. And ready to either shoot him or stab him with a sword. Or both, honestly. She's not picky. Ain't cheap, yeah. Can't wait to see these shenanigans. In whatever form they come in, yeah. What's Jesse's last name? Brooks. You can ask me why, but I cannot remember. Yeah. Yeah, I am still planning on doing the comic. Maybe. Well, I'll have to see. I mean, so far, I first need to finish the one comic I am still working on. But I am still debating on to make this a comic and to just like do like, you know, one page at a time basically. Very slowly. Gonna be months between pages, but you know. Because I think that would be the most interesting way to tell the story. Pretty sure I'm still following webtoons that have been on hiatus for years. Yeah, exactly. All good. I mean, my most ideal way to tell the story would be in a fully, like, animated series. But that's never gonna happen. Because I'm a singular person who can fucking barely bring up the patience to do a single animatic. Maybe someday, I don't know. But I'd prefer to get like the story out in some form or another before then. And then a comic is the most ideal way. Animatics are great. They are. But also, they're not fully fledged 24 minute episodes of animation. And also, they already take too much of my time and patience and like energy and motivation. So I'd rather like put that energy into something that's easier to like put out like that, like a comic. Of just like, here's a page. Now have another page in another 2 weeks, or have another page in a day. I don't know. Yeah. But yeah, I do genuinely love these characters and thinking about them and answering questions about them. Where's coming home from me? I mean, yeah, she would. Yeah. They're just funny little guys running around in my head. She's not gonna be shot by a common plume. Absolutely not, no. If she is gonna be shot, and that's a huge if, and she's gonna be shot by a platinum VIP. Yeah. What else do I got to talk about? She might get in touch with the royal family to see if she can get him knighted. I fucking love the I love the fucking mental image of Jesse just getting a message in the post that he's gonna be knighted, and he's just like, what the fuck? Maybe she can get him married to someone rich. Oh yeah. Also, yes, miss, you're entirely correct. That is gonna be the fucking result of that. Jesse gets very confusing though, yeah. Very much so. God, poor Jesse. Oh yeah, he probably thinks that. He probably just thinks it's a scam. Sure, if he ever shot Mars, nothing bad would ever come. No, 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 definitely not. Mars is a very reasonable individual. Just ask her late husband. So reasonable, so demure, so... She's just a girl. And everyone else who was in line for the business before her. Yeah, no, that you can ask all of them. Just tragic accidents, but you know. If they were alive, they definitely would have told you all about how, like, reasonable she is and how she's just, you know, so ladylike and so respectful and, you know, so passive. Jesse's mouth just getting more and more unhinged. Yeah. Listen, either his status is gonna get raised and they are not gonna have a problem, or he dies and they're definitely not gonna have a problem anymore. She prefers the latter, but you know, if he is gonna kill her, then he should at least be of the right status. It's weird and very expensive courtship gifts. I do think for that matter, honestly, she would, like, if she catches on to Jesse liking Milan, she would be, like, very much like, yes, go do that, go for it. Mostly because she's just, like, she does respect Ulan. She respects his, like, capability. But until that point, she is just sending very strange mail to Jesse. So unhinged. Mm. Ah, fucking poor Pluto. If she did that, poor fucking Pluto who had to fucking witness that. Also poor Jesse, because, you know. But, like, mostly poor Pluto. He doesn't want to see that shit. Why hasn't Duke sent you a horse? And Jessia just has no fucking idea. I I don't know this person. I don't know where this came from. Yeah. Blizzard is definitely, like, charging her so fucking much for that. And Mars just wouldn't fucking care. Like, yes, sure, have the money, whatever. Do it. Aw, come on, Jessie, let her keep the horse. Oh yeah, Pluto wouldn't even ask. That's just... you gotta fucking deal with those prices. If Mars sends a stylist, literally everyone is gonna be, oh god, fucking thank you. Except for Jessie. Especially Bo. Bo's gonna be like, thank you. Please save this man's hair. Yeah. Bottle red and natural red. That's an oldie but a goodie. Also, it's almost time for me to go make dinner, so if anyone has any burning questions, get them in now. Um, and if not, then I'll head off. Um, but yeah. Um, Jesse giving the stylus to the girl. Of course, Mercury knows the fucking stylist by name, and now Jesse is very much convinced that Mercury sent them. But yeah. I don't know if people ever want to see a stream like this again. In case they have more questions. This was fun. I did love this. And this was a fun little, like, just chatting. And if people like it, we can do it again sometime. Very, I'm glad. Yeah. And if there's other burning questions, my DMs are always up. If anyone's like, I want to know this about Mercury. Don't think I don't love to talk about my OCs. I do love to talk about my OCs. Did a whole doodle and you didn't cry whilst trying it. That's great. I love that for you. But yeah, I love chatting about my OCs and making up silly stuff for them. Like to know Mars's fatal flaw for personal reasons. I'm sure it's incredibly personal. No, wait. Not Mars. Not Mars. Mercury. The other one. Even more personal reasons. Mars frightens you. That's fair. I think everyone could do with a healthy dose of fear of Mars. Also, yeah, hi Cresp if you're watching the VOD. Hi. I hope you had a good time last night, and I hope you had a good time at the wedding. Even though it's definitely, you know, not as interesting as, dunking on Mercury. Would not attempt a murder of Mars. Mercury, however. Congrats on getting married, Cresp. Yeah. Yeah. You gotta always be at least be a little afraid of Mars. And Mercury is fine. Mercury is definitely doing great. Not getting murdered by Miss. Or Nyx. Either of them. Yeah. Anyway, hope everyone had a great time, and I hope everyone will have a great evening. And I'm gonna go make dinner now. Have a good evening, and I guess I will see everyone in like a couple of hours for zombie parkour times. Because I guess that's also today. Have a good one, everyone. Bye bye. Love ya. Bye. Bye bye.